Hey, what's up? And welcome to Yoga with Rachel. Today's yoga class is for hip flexibility. So we will be moving through postures that encourage us to open up through our hips, which can reduce overall tightness and improve mobility in our hips. For items, please bring a yoga strap, a belt, or a towel. As you can see here, I don't have anything super fancy. This is actually an item from one of my sweaters that I will be using today. In terms of optional items, you can bring a yoga block as well as a blanket. Without further ado, let's get this party started. We begin our practice in extended child's pose. Make your way to your hands and knees. Once you are there, bring your big toes together, knees go wide. Melt your sit bones towards your heels and walk your hands forward. Breathe in to come up onto your fingertips and look forward. Breathe out to melt your chest, forearms, and forehead to the earth. There's an option to place a yoga block under your forehead for more space. You can also place a folded blanket on your calf muscles and then sit back towards your heels. These two options can create more space, especially if you are experiencing any tightness in your hips. Feel free to find a gentle sway from side to side to perhaps sink a little deeper into this posture. Perhaps you can feel a lovely stretch not only in your hips, but in your glutes and your low back. Throughout today's practice, I invite you to direct the breath down to your hips. Perhaps in doing so, this encourages a softening to take place. We may experience tightness in our hips due to sitting for long periods of time. This can also weaken our hips. We can lose our mobility and range of motion in this area of the body if we do not engage in postures that encourage hip flexion, extension, abduction, and adduction. So this practice is all about improving the mobility in our hips so that way we can move and feel better. We are here for 3 more breath cycles. Breathe in, breathe out. Press into your palms to help you rise up, coming to all fours. Swing your legs off to one side and come to a seat on your mat. Hug your left heel in towards your body and then place your right heel directly in front of your left foot, so your heels are in line with one another. Your right leg is in front of your left leg. Lengthen through your spine, so rolling your shoulders back, heart center shines forward, and tuck in your chin slightly. Breathe in. Breathe out to begin to hinge forward at your hips. Go to a point where you feel a juicy stretch taking place in your right hip. Your bum stays connected to the earth. Release your hands to your mat. Feel free to stay lifted on your palms, or you can come on down to your forearms, or you can fold all the way down, releasing your forehead to the earth. Choose an option that works best for you here. Everyone has a different range of motion. Our bodies are unique. Some of us may already have this openness in our hips because of anatomy or because of lifestyle. Listen to your body, and I encourage you to think kind and loving thoughts as you breathe here. To come out of the posture, press your palms into the earth to help you sit up tall. Now let's switch. Your right heel comes in, left foot goes out in front. Once again, we find length through the spine before we fold. Breathe in. Breathe out to begin to fold forward. choosing an option that works best for you here. Perhaps you take note of how this side feels. Does it feel different from the other side? If so, how? I invite you to take note without passing any judgment. Breathe into your hips here, especially your left hip. All right, press into your palms to slowly rise up. Swim your hands behind you with your fingertips pointing towards your body. Place the soles of your feet on the earth, knees point towards the sky. Walk your feet so that way they are wider than hip distance apart. Let's windshield wiper our legs out a few times. So first, melt your knees over towards the right. Hold here for a moment. And now melt your knees over to the left. A little internal and external rotation. Now over to the right. No worries if the knees are lifted away from your mat. Go to a point where you feel a juicy stretch happening. And now over to the left. One more round. Right. And then left. Bring your knees back to center. Walk your feet and your legs together. Place your hands on your hamstrings. Begin to lean back. Heels rest on the ground, finding length through your spine. So there's an option to stay here or breathe in and breathe out to lift your heels away from the earth. Knees remain bent and shins are parallel to the sky. Stay here or you can reach your hands forward, palms facing towards the ground. Reach towards the top edge of your mat. Feel your core muscles turn on. Perhaps you notice the hip flexors start to light up in this boat pose variation. Now let's open up through our hips. Open your knees wide, toes turn out. You may need to move your arms to the middle and keep on reaching. Now bring your legs back together. 2 more rounds. Open and squeeze, close. Open and squeeze, and then close. Breathe in. Breathe out to lower your feet to the earth. Awesome work. Cross your ankles and make your way to all fours. Knees under your hips, wrists under your shoulders. Fan your fingers out and lightly grip your yoga mat. Feel free to pad your knees with a blanket for extra comfort and support. Rock your pelvis forward, lengthen your tailbone down to create length in your low back body. Look down at your mat. Lift your right knee away from your mat. We are going to draw some circles with the right knee. As we do this action, try your best to keep your back body as still as possible. Let's draw the right knee to the left elbow. Draw a small rainbow with your right knee to your right elbow. And then your knee goes off to the side like in hydrant dog. Continue the circle, sole of your foot reaching towards the sky, just like when we do donkey kicks. And then back to start. Move nice and slow as you do this action. I now invite you to take it away and keep that breath flowing. At least one more circle. Lovely. Now release your right knee back to the earth. Lift and hover your left knee away from the earth. Left knee moves to your right elbow, slow and steady. Then draw your rainbow to your left elbow. Then off to the side. Then behind. And then eventually back to start. Now you take it away. Keep these circles going. At least one more circle. Wonderful. Release your left knee to the earth, coming back to a tabletop position. Step your right foot off to the side, straighten through your right leg. Toes point forward and plant your whole foot on the ground. Place your hands on your hips, rock your pelvis forward, and rise up. Slide your right hand down your right leg as you send your left hand to the sky. Breathe in. Breathe out to reach your left hand to the right side. Roll your left shoulder back to open on up through your chest and breathe here. Breathe in. Breathe out to make your way out of this posture. Hands release back to the earth, and your right leg comes in, finding your tabletop position. Step your left foot off to the side, toes point forward, and your whole foot roots down into the earth. Hands rest on your waistline as you rock your pelvis forward to rise on up. Slide your left hand down your left leg. Breathe in to reach your right hand up and overhead, and then exhale to reach to the left side. I invite you to send your breath down to your hips. One more breath cycle here. Slowly make your way out of gate pose. Hands rest on the earth. Your left leg comes in. We meet together on all fours in a tabletop position once again. Step your right foot towards the back edge of your mat, toes kissing the earth. Find a rocky motion forward and back. Eventually find stillness. Breathe in. Breathe out to hug your right knee in towards your chest, nose towards your knee, and then step your right foot through. Hands frame your right foot. For a deeper stretch in your left hip flexor, walk your left knee back. Again, you can pad your knee here if you find that your knee is getting a bit chatty. Your front knee is stacked over your front ankle, and fingertips rest on the earth. Loop your shoulders, tuck in your chin slightly, and look forward. Perhaps you use the breath to help deepen the stretch, sinking a little bit deeper into this lunge. Breathe in. Breathe out to hug everything in towards your midline, like we are bringing our legs together, but they remain exactly where they are. Breathe in to sweep your hands to the sky. Spread your fingers. Rock your pelvis forward, creating length in the low back, so there is less of an arch in our low back body. Press into all that is touching the earth. Breathe in. Breathe out to lower your hands back down to the earth. Frame your foot, plant your palms, and step your right foot back to join your left foot. Now step your left foot back, toes rest on your mat. Rock forward and back a few times. Eventually you find stillness. Breathe in. Breathe out to hug your left knee in towards your chest, rounding through your spine. Breathe in. Breathe out to step your left foot forward, fingertips lightly kiss the earth. And there's an option to walk your right knee back in space. And breathe here. Lovely. Now hug everything in towards the midline, perhaps feeling the muscles of your legs turn on, the hips slide up as you do this action. And on your next breath in, send your hands to the sky. Breathe out to relax your shoulders away from your ears. Breathe in. Breathe out to release your hands back to the earth. Plant your palms and step your left foot back, coming to all fours. Now walk your hands to the long edges of your mat. Curl your toes under. Breathe in. Breathe out to send your hips to the sky, downward facing dog. Pedal out your feet, swaying your hips from side to side. Find stillness. Anchor through your left heel. Breathe in to send your right foot to the sky, three-legged dog. Dial your toes down to face your mat, so your leg may not get as high as it normally would if you were to point through your toes. Perhaps you feel some movement happening in your right hip socket. Breathe in. Breathe out to lower your right foot back down to the earth. Anchor through your right foot. On your next breath in, send your left foot to the sky, dial your toes down, and breathe here. Breathe in. Breathe out to lower your left foot back to the earth. Take a slow breath in through your nose, and then a cleansing breath out through your mouth. Wonderful. Slowly lower down to your knees. Swing your legs off to one side, coming to a seat. And now let's transition onto our backs. Make sure you have your strap, belt, or your towel close by, as we will be making use of this item. Once you are there, place both feet on the mat, walking your feet close to your bum. Knees point towards the sky. Hug your right knee in towards your chest. Use your strap, belt, or roll up a towel. Place this item around the sole of your foot below your toes, so on the ball of your foot. You may need to lift your head and shoulders away from the earth when you do this action, and then relax the weight of your body back down onto the earth. Your hands can slide down the strap so your arms can relax. When you are ready, begin to send the sole of your right foot to the sky, directing your toes towards the back edge of your mat. There's an option to keep a bend in your right knee. You can straighten through your leg if you would like. Go to a point where you feel a lovely stretch happening in your hamstring. Feel free to send your left leg out long and breathe here. All right, bend your right knee, hugging your knee in towards your chest once again. Your right hand grabs both ends of your item, and your left hand rests on top of your left hip flexor and your thigh. Slow and steady as we do this action, begin to open your right knee off to the right side. Keep your knee bent to start. Ground down through your left leg, left heel pressing into the earth. There's an option to hang out here, or you can explore straightening through your right leg and breathe here. Beautiful. Bend your right knee and draw your knee back to start. Remove your item. Now hug both knees in towards your chest. Release your right foot to the earth, keeping your left knee hugged in. Place your item around the sole of your left foot, just below the toes. Now slowly begin to send your left foot to the sky. There's an option to keep a bend in your left knee, or you can straighten through your left leg. Take note if this side feels different than the other side, regarding sensation or even range of motion. Feel free to send your right leg out long and breathe here. All right, bend your left knee, hugging your knee in towards your chest. Your left hand grabs both ends of your item, and your right hand rests on top of your right hip flexor and thigh. slowly begin to open your left knee off to the side. Ground down through your right leg. There's an option to straighten through your left leg. Breathe into the backs of your legs and into your hips. All right, to come out of the stretch, bend your left knee and draw your left knee in towards your chest. Place your item off to the side and hug both knees in towards your chest. Feel free to find a gentle rock from side to side. Eventually, we find stillness. Stack your knees over your hip points. Lift your shins so that way they are parallel to the sky. Open your knees off to the side, so sending the knees wide. Lift your head and shoulders away from the ground. As you do this action, send your hands through the middle, and then your hands will grab either the outer edges of your feet or your inner arches. Now release your head and shoulders back down to the earth. Soles of your feet press into your hands, and your hands press back to help deepen the stretch. Lengthen down through your tailbone, chin tucks in slightly. There's an option to try this posture with one leg at a time, as shown in the options box on your screen. Happy Baby does not only invite a juicy stretch to our hips, but it also invites a little playfulness into our practice. So feel free to rock a little from side to side. You can even play around with straightening through one leg at a time, or maybe even both. I encourage you to make this practice your own and continue to keep that breath flowing. Breathe in, breathe out. Keep your hands exactly where they are as you cross your ankles. So it is like you are sitting in a cross-legged seat, but you're on your back. I now invite you to find a gentle sway from side to side. All right, find stillness. Release your feet to the earth, hands rest at your sides, palms face up. Send your legs out long, walking your feet to the long edges of your mat. Feel the weight of your body being supported by the ground beneath you. As we lay here, take note of how you feel. This could be physically or emotionally. How do your hips feel? Do you feel a little more open? Do you feel this sense of spaciousness? Were there any challenging poses from our class together? Take a quiet moment to reflect before we end our practice. All right, draw your hands together and then to your third eye. Thank you so very much for joining me here today. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, share this practice with others, and feel free to leave a comment. Take a slow breath in through your nose, and then a slow breath out through your nose. We end our practice by saying Namaste.